Hi, everybody. I'm Cheryl Jackson, and I'm so excited about this casting party. You've been hearing me talk about it on the station all throughout the week as a part of our community affairs show. We gave away tickets today, and I have the cast of AD16 with me today. So our first guest is Marcela Howe. Nope. Am I right? Nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on. My first guest is the star of the actual show. Phoenix Best is here with us tonight. How are you, Phoenix?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Playing the role of Jesus is Ben Fankhauser. How are you?
Right. Hi, Cheryl.
Listen, we are excited about it. And then also with us is Alan Green. I believe you play the father of
Jacob.
All right. How
That's
are you,
right.
Jacob? How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Community Affairs Show. So listen, I want everybody to share. Tell everybody about this this casting party that we have here tonight. Now, we talked about AD16 being a part of Olney Theater, and Olney Theater is in production. So I'm actually pulling up some of the information as we speak, but they have extended the show through March 20th. March 20th is when the actual show is going to go far, because it was going to end on March 6th, but now the show has been extended. I want to talk about AD16, the musical. For those who didn't catch our community affairs show, I'm just going to start off with Phoenix and talk about the plot. Just give us the plot line for AD16.
Sure. The show involves teenage Mary Magdalene leaving Magdala with her father and heading to the town of Nazareth, where she is meeting all these new people, and she runs into this boy who she ends up falling in love with, who just so happens to be 16-year-old Jesus. And you watch this coming of age story virtually of Mary figuring out love in different forms virtually. The love of a father, the love of others, the love of friends, neighbors, enemies, all those around her. And it's just this culminating story of growth, maturity, and love, truly.
I love that. So the description says it's a tale as old as time, but it gets a new look from Tony nominated director Marcia Milgram Dodge, one of the featured professional directors of the Disney Plus show.
No, hey Cheryl, sorry, that's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Our director Stephen Brackett. I think you were reading from Beauty and the Beast what they did before us. That's what Marcia did.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. Hold on.
Stephen Brackett is our director.
Oh, got it. Okay, so I'm looking at the runner show. That's exactly what they gave me. So I know that. Okay, so we'll go back because this is the information that they gave us. That's not the storyline, of course.
It is a tale as old as time. It's just
it is a tale as old as time. So I'm going off the top because I'm reading from the run of show that they gave me, and they gave me that information. And you're right, that is the wrong. But because I did talk to Cinco and Becca, and they did tell me the whole storyline, of course, and as Phoenix just described it. So let's go on, give you opportunity to share your story, though. I want to talk about, we gave you the roles of what you play, but tell us a little bit about your background before coming to AD16.
Sure. I can start, I guess. My name is Ben, of course, and I'm an actor based out of New York City, and AD16 is one of those great opportunities that you get as an actor when you get to kind of go on vacation, go to a different community and put on a show for those people. And that's one of my favorite things about being an actor, is kind of bringing Broadway to the people. And I got involved with the show because Cinco saw me singing in a concert in, I think, 2017 or 2018. And he approached me and said, you know, I'm working on a musical about teenage Jesus and teenage Mary. I think you'd be perfect for it. And he just kind of cold called me in that way. And I've been attached to the project ever since. And we've developed it over a number of years. And we've gone through workshops and readings, and to finally get to bring the show to its full production in such a great community like Olney has just been such a blessing. And I'm loving every minute of it.
Let's go to Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm an actor. I grew up in Philadelphia, and I moved to New York right after college. And I actually did not become a part of AD16 until a few months ago, actually. I got an audition for it and ended up going in to meet the whole team and found out the next day that I got it. So I had no prior knowledge of the show, the music, anything. I had like a tiny little snippet of Perfect and a tiny snippet of Better Than This, two of my songs. And I got to perform them for the team. And here we are today. But yeah.
Alan, they talked about you during our community fair show as excited about it, like the deacon, right?
Well, it's funny. Yeah, I'm the deacon at my little Baptist church here in New York City. I've been in New York City for 20 years. I went to Rice University on a football scholarship to be a lawyer. And then next thing I knew, I was in the music school learning how to sing. And here we are all these years later. But I, like Ben, have been involved with AD16 for several years. So, before a show becomes what it is at Olney, it has certain development processes. And Ben did a concert version when just the songs were written. And then I came on board at a thing called the NAMPT conference, which is a conference for new musicals that are looking for producers and investors. So I did a presentation of just the first act. The second act wasn't even written. We did it in a small theater. It was on book. We rehearsed for about a week, and we, of course, said the lines and sang the songs of just the first act. And that's when Jason, the artistic director at the Olney Theater, first experienced the show and decided that he wanted to be attached to it and help produce it and bring it to the community here in Olney.
I love that. Yeah, when we were talking to the writers, that's exactly what they told us, is that that's where they were able to show it, and that's how they was able to bring it, because it's some amazing writers and directors and you guys as actors coming to this theater here in Olney, Maryland. And to have it come, that was one of my questions, is how in the world were we able to get all of this major talent to the Olney Theater? And they were telling us about that particular conference that happened and how they were able to grab it.
And I can also add, the show was received so well at that conference that there were several artistic directors who were interested in producing it. But Jason kind of won out after meeting with Becca and Cinco, and they just decided that Jason would be the right person, and also that the location of Olney, Maryland would be a particularly great place to do a show like this.
Absolutely, obviously, because it's extended. It was going to end on March 6th, and now everybody is coming on March 20th. I was telling them that my daughter's a theater major, so it's so exciting to see. As you can see, I'm like bubbled, because it's so exciting to see how things unfold and how people are able to be a part of a production like this, and then to see the end product of what's happening and how it's being received. So this is the first time this show has been performed in public here at the Olney Theater. So what was it like working with the writers and directors to create it? As you said, Ben started early on, and then Alan, you said you jumped on in the developing stages of it. So talk about how it's been to work with the writers and director. Anybody can jump in.
I can say, as an actor, developing a new musical is kind of like the goal, because you're able to bring so much of your DNA to the room. And like you said, the writers are there alongside us. So I know Alan has a really cool story about having an idea for a line based on, you'll tell that better, Alan. But, the idea is that, like, okay, I know in this moment I would feel this type of way. So what if I said something like this? And that gives so much fodder for the writer to then go off and do their work and kind of shape it around you. So it's really a collaborative process. And, making theater is a community effort, and you can't do it in a vacuum. You can't do it by yourself. So to be able to bounce ideas, to me, is like the most fun thing about it.
But I will also add to what Ben is saying, is that I've been lucky to only originate in New York City, and have been a part, and I'm currently a part of the developmental process of several projects. And it is not always collaborative. Right. Sometimes you have writers and composers who don't want to change a word. They don't want to change a lyric, and so we were really lucky that even though Cinco and Becca are, you know, at the top of their game, they also were interested in hearing what we had to say. And I also think because Becca is a TV writer, she was it was easier for her to throw things away and try new things, because that happens in the TV world. Because sometimes these musical theater book writers, they don't want to let go of one word, regardless of what you as the actor, you know, feel. And one of the things I've seen in a lot of developmental process is that a lot of the times they're preparing their actors for their first audience, but what they don't realize is that their actors are their first audience. And so if you've got a play and actors are sitting around the table and we're not laughing or we're not moved by what's happening, ideally the creative team should be smart enough to respond to that. And this creative team very much so took advantage of that in a really beautiful way. And then of course our director, Stephen Brackett, knows how to create an environment and a rehearsal space that you just feel really safe, but you're having a lot of fun, but you're also very committed to creating the best version of whatever the show's going to be.
I love that. You're saying that they gave you opportunity to give feedback, and that every production is not like that. And I got that from the right. They were the interview we did for the Community Fair show. They were so informative and laid back and so crafty and artistic. It has to be a breath of fresh air to work with creatives like that. How about you, Phoenix? What was it like working with the writers and director?
Yeah, it was honestly one of the most amazing experiences I've had in theater. Because I had not done any of the readings or workshops prior, I was coming in with new, fresh energy that could be very different from what they had experienced in the past. And it was amazing to get to come in and kind of make the part my own. And a lot of the things that you see on stage of Mary Magdalene is a lot of who I, as Phoenix Best, am as a person. And I would do things in the rehearsal room, and Stephen would be like, yes, lean into that. Give more of that. Be more of yourself. Be more quirky and silly, and that teenage weirdness that you get when you like a boy, but you don't know if he likes you back, or, you know, when you want to fit in, like, what would you have done in a situation like this? And so I truly feel like Mary Magdalene, in the sense of this show, is very much a part of who I am from my day-to-day life. And it was really amazing to get to explore all these different parts of myself that honestly I have not tapped into in my career yet. And I was so appreciative to the writing team, to Becca, to Cinco, and to Stephen, because they constantly listened to how I was feeling while playing the role and asking us questions and seeing if things were working in the show.
Love it. If you're just tuning in, I'm talking with the actors of the production 8016, which is happening at the Olney Theater now until March 20th. And so this is our cast party to get you interested in who they are or know who they are and engage with us. So if you have a question, if you have a comment, you know how we do it. You can put your comments right here. We're going to address the cast with your questions and your comments with regards to the production. And yeah, so if you're on YouTube and you're on Facebook, and we want you to share it, right? So you can tell everybody about this major production. It is Christian based, if you will, from the Bible. And I love it because the creators said they had it's no secret. That's their background. That's what they wanted to share. And they were looking at this story as from Mary Magdalene and the carpenter's son, who is Jesus. And so during those childhood years, you don't hear or see any scripture written about it. They use their creativity. And so now, what if Mary Magdalene fell in love with the carpenter's son? And that's what the whole storyline is all about. I think it's brilliant. I think it sounds like it's a lot of fun just by watching what is said on the Olney Theater page. And it just looks like it's a lot of fun. The videos that I've been seeing of you singing, Phoenix, it just really seems like fun. What has been the audience reaction so far?
Oh, the audience is having a great time. I think the show is unique in a lot of ways, kind of like what you just said, Cheryl. There is no mainstream book, movie, or television series that's mainstream that talks about a teenage Jesus, right? I mean, it ain't even in the Bible. And so I think that's a fun thing. And even when stories are told during this time, it's rarely ever about a teenager. It's always about adults. But the other thing that is, I think we have a couple things that I would call the special sauce, but I think one of the highlights is that this time period is juxtaposed with music that is based on 90s hip hop. So we have this set, we have these costumes, all of these things that we're familiar with when we're thinking of Nazareth and Magdala. But then we hear these songs,
modern day
some
songs,
90s hip hop funk on it, and people just ain't ready for that. Like, people don't even know what to do. I think one of the ladies that we had a talk back after one of our performances, and she said, I just kept being surprised by what the next song was going to be. So it's just so like delightfully unexpected, and it's worlds that have been put together that I dare say nobody has ever put these worlds together before.
Anybody else?
It's been such a joy. The final piece of the process is really the audience. So, working on this show for years and then rehearsing it for a number of weeks and then finally getting that audience response in, it was just such a joy to see what people were resonating with. And not only is that what Alan was talking about, that juxtaposition between that Nazareth world and that contemporary music, but also the jokes in the show are really funny and witty and smart. And then there's like an emotional core that sort of rolls over the audience, and you feel the audience like, like when something emotional happens, you can really feel that reverberate throughout the space. So it's a really dynamic response. People are cheering at the great songs. They're wiping away a tear at an emotional moment. And throughout, we're having a joyous, fun, witty, smart, funny time. So it's been a blast.
It sounds like it. Phoenix?
Let me jump in there. Phoenix. I know we want to hear from Phoenix, but Al, I gotta speak. The other thing too is, so you said, Cheryl, that this was Christian based. I wouldn't say that it's Christian based. I would say that it's got a faith background because it's about a teenage Jesus.
Got it.
One of the other special sauces of our show is that the creative team is of every faith and no faith.
Wow.
And typically when shows are done that have a faith background, the creative team is largely of that faith. Okay. But we got a composer who's a Mormon. We got a writer who's a recovering Southern Baptist. We got a director who's agnostic. We got a director who's agnostic. And we got an artistic director who's Jewish. So those are very different faith backgrounds, but they all came together with the same vision for this story. And I think going back to the audience, I think the most conservative Christian labeled person, and then also the most like anti-church, I don't like church person, not only both will like the show, they will both think that the show was written for them.
Wow.
And that is crazy, crazy unique. But that is true as I've been talking to people in the audiences. We literally have audiences from the extremes, and they all love the show because of the brilliance of Cinco and Becca and the way they put this all together. So for like the old school theater people who maybe don't know the 90s hip hop music, they have all of these nuggets of references to traditional musicals that is also in the script. And so there's like, I mean, I don't want to be trite and say something for everyone because,
no, but it sounds like it is. Yeah.
But it really is a situation where everybody, and Jesus is literally the most well-known person in the world. Again, regardless of your faith, you know about Jesus and things about Jesus. And so it really is just something that everybody seems to be responding to. And like Ben said, they're laughing, they're crying. Okay, I'll shut up. You talk, Phoenix.
That's brilliantly described, though. As I was talking to Cinco and Becca, it pretty much because they said to me, it's no secret that that's what their faith is, right? And so you could see that in some of the things that they've created, right? With This Is Us, with Despicable Me, the animated stories, they all have this brilliant storyline, and the overlying message, he said, for this was love. Right? The overlying message for this production and their creative genius is to still exude what Christ stands for, right? It's love. And so I can understand what you're saying, Alan, whether you're a believer or non-believer, the message of love is still there for you. And so I think that it's just so amazing to me to see brilliant minds come together like this and to create such a production like 8016. So listen, family, y'all got to go get it. So go ahead, Phoenix. What is it like working with the directors and writers of this production?
Oh, it's great. And the audiences, they just seem like they are listening. They're tuned into us. Like that is the biggest thing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that like they are a part of our show as much as we are. And so hearing back from them, the things that make them laugh, the things that make them cry, knowing that they are there with us gives us the energy too to continue telling the story even further and wanting them to be more a part of it. And I mean, Alan said it all. So there's not much more for me to say other than come see it, because you could be in the audience and feel it too.
I like it. So again, AD16 is playing at the Olney Theater, and it's going on until March 20th. We've been giving away tickets too on the station, so be sure to listen to the Midday Show for an opportunity to win.
I want some tickets. How can we win tickets?
You got to listen to my show. That's the whole idea, right? But I'm coming too, and I'm going to let y'all know when I'm going to be there, because I really am excited to hear this production with everything that's happening in the world. As a journalist and reporter and announcer, I'm having to read all of the news. I have to see all of the things that's happening in the world. We're talking about war again. We're talking about, the pandemic. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated. We're talking about, all of the things, loved ones and family members who have died, not just from COVID, but just stuff, right? And so to have a production like this, speak on that. Speak on, just as you said, Alan, the lightness of being able to come and laugh, to come and I know the Olney Theater has protocols in place, so you don't have to worry about any of that. But it's a family show, guys. So y'all talk about that. Share that with the audience. Your appeal to share with them why you think this is the production for right now for you to check out.
I think you said it really, really clearly, Cheryl, which is that there's so much going on today, and to get a reprieve from the world, to get to just kind of hang up your troubles for 2.5 hours and sit amongst the people, sit in a community space. Another thing I love about theater is that it's this little, imaginary contract. The actors, the creatives, and the audience is all signed together. It's like, we're all going to come to this building. We're all going to put the world away for 1 second, and we're going to invest in a story, and a story that is so worthy of investment. One like this, which is about love thy neighbor, and a coming of age story, something we've all been through. And it's just so sacred to me. And I think people, like we have been saying, people are going to, laugh and cry and enjoy themselves. It's a lot of fun, but it's also a really important message. We send at the finale of the show, we sort of send everyone on their way. And this message of you've only begun and there's so much to be done is such an inspiring message to me. And it makes me think about what I want to get done in my life. And so, yes, this is an entertaining piece, but it's also really quite meaningful. And, another lyric is coming to my mind, which in a song that Phoenix sings at when her character's turning point, she sings a song called Better Than This. And she sings, life has given me another chance to rise above my circumstance. And I love that lyric so much. And it's so refreshing. Even though I hear it 7 times a week, it's still, every time I hear it, it's like, yes, we need that message in every moment. So the message of the show is one that is so worthy. And then on top of it, to have so much fun, and the dancing and the lighting and the costumes and everything. Those are my favorite kinds of productions, because you go in, to have fun, but you stay for the message, and it leaves you thinking. So I hope people come buy tickets and come see the show, because it's a healing opportunity, So I see a couple of people in the chat already that have got their tickets. So I'm looking forward
to I know. That's so dope.
Yeah, I want to add on to what Ben was saying. Is the other thing too that's so another special sauce about the show is, like Ben said, it's a message that we all need, but it is not preachy at all. But it is also not watered down or vanilla. It's not partisan. It ain't about race. Everybody is every color and every size and every shape.
That's
and
amazing.
So again, it goes back to the brilliance of our writers, that they've given us this gift that so often has all of these other things attached to it that we got to get through and we got to get past and get beyond, or have our opinion of our side of whatever the issue is. But this show doesn't have any of that. Okay. This show is just open and you can just sit back and receive it.
Phoenix?
Yeah, what I was going to say is that even with all the stuff that's happening in the world now, throughout time, even watching the show, there are parallels to things that we deal with in our everyday lives. And so I think that is also something that when people come to the theater, even though it's talking about things in AD 16 in Nazareth, it's still relevant to what we go through today. And I think people can see little pieces of themselves in moments or in characters or in songs or messages that they can take and go along with the rest of their day and understand that everyone has their differences, but there is a universal theme of love, which we need to go out in the world and continue to have, no matter the differences between all of us. So I think that that is a huge, huge part of the show. And I want people to walk away with that and hopefully come see the show.
I like it. So before we go, I do want to answer the question that came from the audience. She says, I'm curious to hear how clear the message of love will come across. I know that's something she needs to go. Well, Natalie already said she's got her tickets, but just give us a synopsis of how that message of love it comes across in the production. Like how crystal clear is that, I guess, because we talked about how love is the central theme. Are we giving away too much to say how it's explained in the production?
I don't think we're giving away too much. Go ahead, Phoenix. Okay. Well, I was just going to say that, we touched on this a little bit earlier, that there are all different kinds of love. There's a love between father and daughter and friends and even enemies, and exploring that love. And so the show really explores love through a number of different avenues, namely this sort of young love and what it means to sort of have a crush on a boy when you're 16, and does he like you back the same way? And then expanding out on love being even bigger than that. And I think it lays it out in a clear way, but it also leaves room for the audience. In other words, it leaves room for each viewer to insert their idea of love, or sort of ruminate on that message too. So love is one of those things that for me appears in all aspects of life. Even when we're in moments of tension or when two characters are not seeing eye to eye, it's because maybe there's a lack of love there that they're trying to find. So, love is all around us. And then the show is full of love. And that's, I think, what makes it so joyful.
Phoenix, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that it's about like maneuvering what love is to you and how you express love and the way you see love in others. I will tell you, you will be able to see it in the show. It is very, very clear, the love moments, and also what type of love we're talking about at certain points in the show. That it might begin with Mary's love for Jesus, but at the end, it takes you even further beyond that it's not always just about the love of one other person, but that there's love for so many other people. But there's no way you'll miss how important the love message is in the show.
Awesome. So it's almost time for us to wrap up. I'm going to give you opportunity to give closing remarks to those who are watching tonight. Again, we'll give you an opportunity. I see you, Donna. So tickets can be purchased at onlytheater.org. If you see the banner that's scrolling on the bottom, I talk for a living. I really do. If you see the message that's scrolling at the bottom, it says tickets are available at onlytheater.org. So that's where you can go to get tickets. But before we close out, again, this is the cast of AD 16 that's playing at the Olney Theater until March 20th. And I want to give you opportunity to close out, say what you need to say to our audience. It's so good to meet you guys, and I can't wait to see you in the production. But we'll start with Alan, since he's at the top of the screen.
I'll just say I'm delighted that it's extended so more people get to come and see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will also say it's an intimate space. So once the tickets are gone, they're gone. So don't sit around and wait till the last minute, because it truly is. I mean, I've been around 4 Broadway shows, lots of stuff. I don't know that I've ever seen a show quite like this. Wow. It's special.
Wow. We'll go with Ben.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. I think this show is quite special, and tickets are flying. We extended, we opened last week and we've already extended 2 weeks due to popular demand. So that's a really encouraging sign to me. And I hope that is your cue out there to get your tickets. And even if you've seen us, tell a friend, bring a friend, come back. We've seen a lot of repeat offenders as well. A lot of people are coming to see the show multiple times because it's just that much fun. And we're having a blast up there, and we are sharing something really special. And our audiences are leaving on a high. So come join in the fun.
Wonderful. Phoenix?
Yeah, I'm just so passionate about this show and the message and getting to work with these amazing actors and tell this story. And I really, really hope that people come out to see the show. Get your tickets, click that banner below, or go to onlytheater.org, get your tickets. They are starting to go. It's even hard for us to get tickets now. So please come out, get your tickets, and come see 8016.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. I love to hear that the tickets are flying off the shelf. So go get your tickets. Go to onlytheater.org. Now, we did a community affairs show with the writers, the creators, the writers, and the book writer, Cinco and Becca. And you could check them out on our website at praisedc.com. I even posted the video of you singing, Phoenix, so that they can get a sneak peek of what some of the production from AD16. Again, it's running now through March 20th. We were trying to hurry up and get everything in place by March 6th, but it looks like the tickets are flying off the shelf. Do not wait, as Ben said. Go ahead and get the tickets. Again, it's at the Olney Theater. For more information, you can visit onlytheater.org. Get your tickets at onlytheater.org. You'll see the full spectrum of what this production is about. You'll see some clips from the director. You'll see some clips from the producers. You'll see some clips from the writers and all of that great stuff. I'm excited to see it myself. So listen, thank you so much to the cast of AD16 for joining us, Alan, Phoenix, Ben. I appreciate this time for our audience. Y'all share this video on all platforms and tell them to make it over to the Olney Theater before the 20th. It's been a great night. Thank you so much for joining us for this cast party right here, wherever you're watching, YouTube or Facebook, okay? Have a great night.